gone through a quarterback decision process many times in your career. Kind of, is this the spot you want to be in? Did you want to have already have someone named? Kind of, what is your mentality on that?
No, I think they all happen organically, and they express themselves that way. So it's every day, all of them, coaches, players, everybody, just trying to get, can I be better today than I was yesterday, and then just not worry about the other things. Just how do I get better? How am I better today in 7-on-7? How am I better today in team? What did I throw the ball like in one-on-ones today? What was my accuracy? What was my reads? Going through all that stuff. So I think the players are in the same boat that we are. Like I'm not really concerned about who's taking what reps right now. We're just making sure we get maximum reps and we can teach off of our reps.
You talked in the spring about what brought you to Northwestern, but now that you're closer to the season, when you think about yourself personally, what do you want to get out of this season? What do you want to accomplish this season?
That's a good question, but I never really think about personal goals or that stuff. That's not what it's about, because this is the ultimate team game. So any personal goals are team goals, because the team success is the most important thing that we focus on, and that's really for us. And Coach Brown's done a real good job with it. We haven't really talked about the first game. We play a really, really good opponent in the first game, but we're 19 days away from that. When we get to game week, then we'll start to focus in on who our first opponent is. But right now, our opponent is us. And we need to get better every single day. And if every guy can kind of put their head on their pillow at the end of the day and say, I got a little bit better today, then we're doing a good job. So the team goals are the same goals that I have. And are we getting better on a daily basis? And I've seen a progress over the course of I think this was the 10th training session we had. We're slowly moving up the stairs right now, and that's a positive.
Gavin Sawchuk said his goals. He's explicitly said his goal is to get to the NFL. Do you think he has what it takes to do that, and what do you think he needs to scouts or GMs this season to get there?
Yeah, I think the world of Gavin. He's one of the smartest young guys I've ever been around. He picks things up like that. He's a one-timer. You really don't have to explain anything to him, and more than once, because he gets it the first time. He really understands the game. He was really well coached. He got coached by DeMarco Murray when he was at Oklahoma, and DeMarco is I had him in a meeting room. He's as meticulous as they are with his notes, so I knew Gavin was going to be that way. And DeMarco said that you're going to get a really good one, and he wasn't lying. So, he just has to continue to improve on a daily basis. I think he can accomplish anything he wants from a goal standpoint. But I think he has the same mindset of, I just want to get better today. And, that's a down the road thing, which is kind of good. When you have an off day or something like that, you can look up and kind of see that and think about that, and that may be your motivation. But on a daily basis, it's just about self-improvement, and he lives that on the practice field right now. So,
Coach, your running back room is one of the strongest position groups on the team. It has been that way at Northwestern for the last couple of years, but often the way that it can get with that is there's too many mouths to feed, difficult to balance. Players like Caleb Komolafe, Gavin Sawchuk, and Joseph Hyman. How have you felt that balance has shaken out so far, and how, I guess, do you expect to manage all of these different workloads?
Well, it hasn't shaken out because we're not even in a first group, second group, third group. We're just getting reps. So, AT does a great job coaching those guys and making sure that they're getting balanced reps, and you're not running Caleb into the ground, but you're also trying to see what the younger guys can do, and in a lot of things that we do are two-spot drills. So we're actually having 44 guys are going at once, not just 22 guys going at once. So with 44 guys going at once, there's nobody that comes off the practice field saying, I didn't get enough reps. So they're all getting reps. They're all getting better. But I think that's things that you should never have to worry about, because I've been in rooms that have had 9 guys, and then 2 days later you got 1 guy, and you're, boy, I wish I had more. So that's not anything that's a concern with us right now. You'd rather have too much than too little, and that's always been the way I felt. So we got a group of guys that I think can play, a group of guys that have played and done really well. Caleb's done really well. Joe's done really well. Gavin's played a lot of football. I think there's a lot of guys in there that can play. And then when we get into game week, then all of a sudden you start to think about the number of reps for each guy and kind of where we are. But, those are champagne problems. So you don't ever complain about having too many. So
You kind of talked to that point about having champagne problems, and Northwestern has a lot more skill in different areas on this team than usual, but maybe compared to some of your previous teams, not as much, clear NFL talent. Do you feel you have the skill here to run your system as you want to?
Yeah, I've never compared. I can't compare the Northwestern group of backs this year to the group before because I wasn't here. And then there's no reason for me to compare them to any other teams I had because I can't get any of those guys to come here. So I don't even think of it that way. So we're literally kind of in the hedges right now, and I'm not thinking, do we have enough talent to do this, or this? I'm just, are we stepping in the right direction? Are we going in the right phase? It's really in the details. Are we getting our hands inside the framework? Are we getting our thumb pointed out so that we can rotate our elbow and get more pressure on them? Or are we going outside and not doing a good job from a technical standpoint? So our mind, and I think our players' minds are really right in that, like trying to win today. You know, I think we had a good training session right now, but as we just told them, it's just halftime. You know, they got to come in, they got to get treatment, they got to recover, they got to come back, they got to lift this afternoon. We got meetings and we got walkthrough tonight. You know, so can we finish it off with a win today? And if you can start stacking days on top of each other. But the comparisons and things like that, we're anywhere close to that right now. So.
Kind of going off the comparison thing, I know
Okay.
you've been to so many different coaching stops. What's unique about Northwestern?
I think the connection between the staff and the players is outstanding. You know, and I think Coach Braun does a great job of really cultivating that. You know, you enjoy. I think you enjoy as a player coming here every day. You enjoy I know as a coach, I enjoy coming in here every day. You like the guys you work with. You like the guys that you're around. You know, it's a, you know, there's a kinship there that everybody kind of enjoys, and I think that's what it's like. No matter what you do for work, you get up in the morning, you're excited to go to work. You know, you get some people some days and you get excited to go. You know, you get into it and you're like, man, what am I doing every day? I don't understand that. You know, I told our players a story about a guy got a job. He's been out of work for a year, and he comes to work the first day, and guy's construction job. The guy goes, you got to go upstairs on the roof and do this, and the guy works his tail off, and then he comes down for lunch and opens up his lunch, and he says, peanut butter and jelly. And they don't say anything. This goes on for 6 months. Every day he goes up and works, and every day he comes down for lunch. He doesn't talk to anybody at work, but the guy works his tail off. They love him as a worker, and he opens up his lunch, and he looks at his sandwich, and he goes, peanut butter and jelly. And then the boss goes, hey, not for nothing, but every day you come in, you open up your sandwich, you look at it, and you complain. He goes, why don't you tell your wife to make you a different sandwich? And he goes, I make my own sandwich. And the point is, you make your own good time. So you can't complain about having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because you made the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know what I mean? And I think for us, when we come here every single day, you get excited to come here every day because of the people in this building get you excited about being around them. You want to be around them. They're good people. And they have the same shared common goal. You know, when they're up there on the wall, and I think our kids live them every day, and it makes it fun to go to work. This group of players is outstanding to work with and to be with every day because they want to get better and they want to improve, and it's a lot of fun to be around those guys.
You know, last year's team finished kind of in the middle of the pack in the league in terms of rushing attack. Like, what do you think is going to be the key to, you know, get bigger rushing lanes, get more spacing, whatever it takes to really kind of get the unit towards the top?
I think everybody on the same page. So the details of it, you know, so is the timing of the line in the backs. When the backs hit the hole, is the timing of the line at the same time? Are they getting movement on their double teams and then getting off at the right time for the right people? You know, are their assignments clear? Are you staying away from tackles for loss? That's a huge thing that kills you all the time in the rush game. Is all of a sudden you got to run a 6, you got to run a 8, you got a loss of 3. You know, now you're off track. You know, if you can stay on track, you know, move the ball forward on first down, you know, gain 4+ more yards on first down, and then gain half the distance on second down, and then convert on third downs, and then stay on the field. You know, so obviously the longer the drive, the more tired the defense gets, the bigger the rush lanes get. So you got to stay away from 3 and out. So it's really about being efficient, especially early in the drive. You know, can we be really efficient and accumulate a couple first downs? Because things start to change after that. But I think it's really the details, and that's what these guys are doing a really good job of working on right now.
Coach, to follow up on your offensive line, you see the same 5 numbers now, pretty much playing with the ones. However, we see 2 guys at left tackle. Schaller, who's a converted tight end, he's in a boot. I know it's just kind of temporary. Tell us a little bit about that left tackle position and how it's going between those 2 guys.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't think of it that way. I think of it as how many reps can each guy get, and can we grade it out? You know, we still got time. As I said earlier, we're 19 days away from playing, and then and we get into game week, then we'll start to say, all right, who's plugging and playing? Like, you've watched us. You know, we've got 2 huddles going at once as fast as we can. I don't care who's in the first huddle. I don't care who's in the second huddle. They're still going against the first defense. So it's just, what is their technique, and how are they getting better, and are they getting improvement on it? And I know Trev is moving guys around based on play, not based on upfront combination, because this guy needs this play because he didn't get it right the other day, but he can get it right if I put him in the second group on this one play. So, again, we're just trying to get reps and get better as a group. Once we start to get closer to game week against South Dakota State is when we'll start to kind of hone in on who's where and where we are. And then obviously when you get Pat back, and it shouldn't be long to get Pat back here, so then what does that look like? But right now I think Dennis is doing a really good job there. You know, I think Trey's doing a really good job on the other side. I think Grant's doing a really good job on the other side. You know, so we got some guys that can move around. You know, Deuce has played inside, but he's also played outside. So we're not really kind of honed in on what the grouping is or what the five is, as much as we're really just looking at how does each individual maximize the amount of reps they get, and are we managing? They're getting 25 to 30 to 40 reps a day. What are they doing on those 40 reps that they're getting?
Marcelo is still the captain of that offensive line, doing a great job for you up there.
He's doing a really nice job. It was good. That was a good, you know, I mean, he deserved to come back, and we did not have him in the spring, but to have a guy that's played as many quality snaps as Jackson's played, you know, there's just, you can tell that you got a guy in the middle that is running the show, and he's doing a really good job with it.
Thanks, Chip.
Thanks, guys.
Jamaal, transferring from UCF, why was Northwestern the right place for you to go to?
I just like the culture here. I just love what Coach Braun and the coaching staff just approached to me, and I just love the guys here, and just I love the way they just welcome me in, and it just felt like the right system to be in, and where I could play fast and free, and I'm just ready to go.
And you had 24 tackles, I think, last season, but no sacks. What changes have you made to be able to get to the quarterback this season?
Just really being intentional just about my pass rush, just really being intentional about my get off, the point of attack, and just measuring just my measurements from the tackle into the quarterback, and just really just taking time to just watch film, and even just taking time to watch like NFL clips, you know, seeing how the guys get to the quarterback in the NFL, like how they control the rush lanes in the NFL, how they control the pocket. So just really just being intentional about just watching film and just really just keying in on my get off.
Similar to that, why do you think Northwestern went to you in the transfer portal? Like, what do you think are the best parts about your game?
I believe when they turn on the tape, they just see the tenacious athlete in me, just the freak nature in me, just my motor and just my knack for getting off the ball and just my knack for finding the ball, even in the run game. So just fitting into this puzzle has just really just been solid for me.
You mentioned loving the coaching staff. What do you like about their approach and what they've done with you?
I just love how transparent they is, how honest they are with me. They give it to me straight, you know, no sugarcoating, and just love the way the coaching staff hold me accountable. You know, even though I'm a new guy and things like that, it's certain things that they expect from me. With me being a vet and me being my last year and stuff like that, so I kind of just get the speed of the game and just how quick I have to pick up on things as far as like, you know, the playbook and the scheme and stuff like that. And I feel like that's been going very well.
For Migo, what has it been like to kind of go through the shift from being a newcomer and a transfer last season to now you're one of the more veteran presence on the line returning?
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep the standard, keep the main thing, just trying to keep what those guys from the past seasons, trying to keep building on what they built already, and just trying to elevate it. That's all I'm trying to do, trying to lead the young guys and also, you know, just trying to lead the room as well.
You were unfortunately limited to just 4 games last season. What is kind of your mentality going into this season, hoping that it's going to be a complete run?
This whole season, get back. I feel like I got my season taken away from me last year, and, you know, this whole season is going to be straight get back.
And Michael Kilbane's the leading returner in sacks to the team with just 3.5 last season. How does kind of the whole defensive line, you know, what's the mentality like with not a lot of returning sack production on paper, but I assume you have faith that you guys can get to the quarterback this season?
Yeah, so when we make a play in the backfield, we're gonna have a party in the backfield, and we're just gonna feed off on each other's energy, and we're just gonna keep stacking on that and just gonna build on that, feeding off each other's energy.
Migo, you got a lot of new faces on this defensive line. How have you worked, you know, as a returner to, you know, integrate these transfers and, you know, bring kind of what was in the room last year, you know, to a room that has a lot of new faces?
Yeah, like I said, we're just trying to keep the main thing, and just keep holding the standard. You know, there's really nothing to it. You know, we're playing football, and, you know, we're trying to play fast and aggressive. You know, just trying to entitle that on the other guys in the room. That's it. Just try to play aggressive.
Gavin, I saw you explicitly said your goal is to make it to the NFL. What do you think you need to do this season to show that to scouts, GMs, et cetera?
Yeah, I think the important thing is just showing my value as a player, as a running back, being able to be on, run the ball, third down blocking, getting catching routes out of the backfield, explosive plays, and also too like special teams. You know, that's a big part of trying to make a job in the league. You got to be able to play special teams. So just trying to make my value known to the scouts.
Chip has a great track record for developing running backs and sending them to the league. What do you think it is about like working within his system that helps running backs develop?
Yeah, I think he's a great coach. I mean, he sets up players for opportunities to, have big plays, all over the field. It's an NFL offense, NFL system. He's been an NFL guy. He's been all around. So, like you said, like he knows what it takes. He's sent running backs there. He's coached running backs that have been in the league, so he knows what it takes. So he puts people in the position to, be able to show themselves and be able to prove that.
For Gavin, I think going from Oklahoma to Florida State and the Northwestern is kind of an unusual path. Why was Northwestern the place for you out of the portal?
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with this team, just the different pieces on it. I coming out here on a visit, got to see what the team was working with, and it's a great team. It's a special group of guys. The coaching staff is great as well. Having Chip, someone like that, as an offensive coach, that offensive mind behind the ball is big. Loved be able to meet Coach Braun and see what he's all about. I mean, he's one of the best guys I've been around. All about the team, all about discipline, hard work, what it takes to be, a great football team. So, I mean, the program in general was just, it was a big part of why I decided here.
And for Caleb, what's it like to kind of, I think coming into last season on paper, a lot of people anticipated you as kind of the third running back in the room behind Cam and Joe, and now I think it's kind of flipped around. You're now the lead running back in a group of three. What's that dynamic like this fall?
I'd say it's just keeping the same mentality, just working every day to be better, the best player that I can be. And then growing in a leadership role is something big that I wanted to do this year, and Coach Braun has been encouraging me to do, just helping and bringing other guys along with me. So, yeah.
Caleb, this is kind of a big picture question, but your strength of schedule was really difficult this year. As a team, just how do you guys approach that? What mindset does it take to kind of approach what's ahead for you guys?
I mean, we play in the best conference in the country, so obviously we know that we're going to play the best competition, so we're excited for every opportunity that we get to play. And these opportunities we're going to have this year, we're just excited to get out on the field and show what we can do.
Well, one gentleman I'm kind of impressed with, I've had a chance to talk to once, is Sean Morris, and he is the rookie or first-year player out of Compton, California, which I'm very familiar with. Tell me what you think of the young freshman.
Oh, Sean is going to be a dog. He has a bright future ahead of him, definitely. He's coming to this room, helped us a lot too, in growing. He brings a lot of explosiveness, and I feel like he keeps growing as a player every day. And I feel like with obviously having Chip Kelly from your freshman year on, it's a great advantage for him, and he's going to be a dog in the future.
Seems like he could make an impact on special teams too as a freshman.
I definitely see that.
Caleb, last year was a breakout for you. What do you attribute that to, and then what do you need to do to kind of get over that next hump to get up to the next level?
I'd say last year it was just staying down, focusing, learning the offense thoroughly. Last year was a big piece that I really grew in. I'd say also just having Coach AT, he helped me a lot with my read keys and what I'm looking at, and helped me become a better player, more savvy in my blocking as well, something I'm still working on. And I'd say for this year, just being consistent and staying decisive. I feel like that's a big piece that'll help me explode in my game a little bit more.
Caleb, what's that experience working with Chip Kelly been like? And I guess how is that, is there anything about working with him that surprised you or has differed, a lot from your time last year and before that?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm surprised by anything. I know he's like a big football mind, so I knew he was going to bring a lot of things, a lot of new things that I hadn't seen before. And I feel like it's awesome to be able to pick his brain and get a better understanding of the game as a whole, having him around here.
For Caleb, I think at Big Ten Media Day, I overheard when someone was asking you when you found out about Chip Kelly, you said you were like playing a game or playing D&D. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I was playing the game. I was at home actually. I was playing the game. Coach Brown had called me and told me, and I thought I was like, what? I was confused at first, and it was a big shocker because Chip Kelly, bro. Like, I never expected it.
What game were you playing?
NCAA.
Oh,
Kind of similar to his question, just what is unique about Coach Kelly as a coach, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, just smart dude. That's what I would say, like the number one thing that sticks out to me. Just smart. Everything that he does, everything that we run, there's a rhyme or reason behind it. This guy does this so that the defense reacts this way, all those things. It's so detailed. And, that's something that's big for me, too, is being able to understand the full offensive scheme, which he coaches. Being able to have the unit meetings and meet with everybody, understand the whole offense as a whole, why the receivers are doing this, why the tight ends, the the linemen while the running backs are doing this, so that we could all understand and see the bigger picture, and then go out there and execute it. It's just been it's been a lot of learning for sure. It's been great.